Hello there and welcome. If you're over 60, sometimes it can feel like managing your health is a full-time job. We're always encouraged to get checkups and screenings, and that's a good thing. Being proactive is key to healthy aging. But what if the smartest choice isn't always to get another test, but maybe to ask a few more questions?
We've all heard the saying that catching a problem early is the best way to go. And a lot of the time, that is absolutely true. Early detection really does save lives. But as we get older, that whole equation starts to shift a little. Our bodies are different, our health priorities might change, and the balance of risk and reward for any medical procedure, well, it's just not the same as it was when we were 40 or 50. So today, we're going to explore the other side of that coin. How sometimes too many tests can actually lead down a path of unnecessary worry and procedures.
Now let's be really clear about something. The goal here isn't to scare you or to suggest you should avoid your doctor. It's actually the exact opposite. This is all about empowering you with good information so you can be an even better partner with your healthcare team. It's about feeling confident enough to ask questions, to really understand the why behind a test, and to make the choices that feel right for your life and what you want for your health.
To really get a handle on this, we need to talk about a key idea that might change how you think about medical tests. It's something called the cascade effect. Now, you might not have heard that term before, but I bet you've experienced it, or you know someone who has. It's actually a super common thing in medicine today.
So what is the cascade effect? Well, it's basically a chain reaction. It often kicks off with a routine test that finds something really small, an incidental finding they call it, something that probably would have never caused you any harm. But once it's on the report, a whole process gets started. Because once a doctor sees something that's not quite normal, they have to look into it, even if their gut tells them it's nothing to worry about.
Think about it like a line of dominoes all set up. A routine scan, maybe for something totally unrelated, finds a tiny, harmless little cyst on the kidney. That's the first domino to fall. It can't just be ignored, right? So that leads to a referral to a specialist. That specialist then orders a more advanced scan, maybe one with contrast dye, which brings its own small risks. And each step after that carries its own set of potential issues. And so often, weeks or even months later, the whole journey ends right where it started, with the discovery that that first little finding was completely harmless all along. Okay, so keeping that cascade effect in mind, let's take a look at a few common medical tests. It's just so important to remember that the balance of benefits and risks can really change as we get older. Our bodies can become a bit more sensitive to the side effects of tests and treatments. And sometimes, the diseases we're looking for might take decades to develop. A test that made perfect sense at 55 might deserve a totally different kind of conversation at 75.
First up, let's talk about those full-body MRI or CT scans. You've probably seen ads for these, usually from private clinics. And they promise this comprehensive head-to-toe screening to catch anything and everything early. It sounds pretty great, doesn't it? The appeal is obvious. Who wouldn't want a complete picture of what's going on inside their body?
But here's the thing, the reality is a little more complicated. Research has shown that when you do these scans on healthy adults who don't have any symptoms, more than 90% of the time, the scan will show some kind of abnormality. We're talking tiny spots on the liver, little nodules in the lungs, cysts on the kidneys. The vast majority of these things are just signs of a life well lived. One doctor I heard called them wrinkles on the inside, and I think that's a perfect description. They're harmless, but they can be the very first domino that starts that cascade effect we talked about.
This is exactly where asking good questions becomes your superpower. If a scan is suggested, you could ask something like, are we looking for something specific because of my symptoms, or is this more of a general search? And instead of just searching for problems that might not even be there, you could talk with your doctor about your functional health. How's your energy? What about your balance, your mobility? Are you able to do the things you love to do? A lot of the time, those are much better clues to your overall well-being.
Okay, now let's tackle another big concern that often leads to getting a scan: memory. We all have those moments, right, where you can't find a word or you forget why you walked into the kitchen. As we get older, those moments can feel a little more frequent and maybe a little more scary. So for a lot of us, the first reaction is, let's get a brain scan and see what's going on.
The hope, of course, is to get some reassurance and rule out anything serious. But the truth is, an MRI report for someone over 70 will almost always mention things that sound pretty alarming, like mild cerebral atrophy or white matter changes. But in so many cases, these are just normal, age-related changes in the brain. They're the brain's version of those wrinkles on the inside. And they don't actually tell you anything about how well your brain is working day to day. That report can end up causing a lot more anxiety than it solves.
A much better first step might be asking about simple in-office memory tests, which are just a series of questions and little tasks. It's also so important to look into the many reversible causes of memory issues, and there are a ton of them. Certain medications, not sleeping well, a simple urinary tract infection, being dehydrated, thyroid issues, or even low levels of vitamins like B12 can all mess with your memory. Taking care of those things can often make a huge difference. No scan needed.
By the way, we really hope you're finding this information useful. Our whole mission here is to give you clear, balanced information to help you on your health journey. If this is making sense to you, we'd love it if you'd consider subscribing and maybe sharing this with a friend or a family member. Our goal is to help as many people as we can feel confident and clear about their health. All right, next, let's turn our attention to the heart. Specifically, we're going to talk about routine stress tests. You know the kind, where you're walking on a treadmill. But we're talking about when they're done not because you have chest pain or other symptoms, but just as a precaution. Maybe because of your age or before a minor surgery like a knee replacement.
Now, the intention here is wonderful. It's all about making sure you're safe. But the tricky thing with these tests is that they're known for having a pretty high rate of what are called false positives in older adults. A false positive means the test suggests there's a problem when there really isn't one. And this can happen for all sorts of reasons that have nothing to do with dangerous blockages. This little blip can start a whole cascade that leads to more invasive procedures, like a cardiac catheterization, which come with their own set of risks.
This is another one of those times when focusing on your functional health is just so important. If you can walk up a flight of stairs, or carry in your groceries, or go about your day without getting chest pain or feeling super out of breath, then in a way, your daily life is a stress test. It's definitely worth asking your doctor if your real-world ability is a better sign of your heart health than a test on a machine.
Okay, for our last example, we're going to talk about a more sensitive topic: routine screening colonoscopies, especially for folks over the age of 75. And it's really important to stress that we are talking about routine screening in people who have no symptoms. This is a totally different conversation if you're having issues like stomach pain, changes in your bathroom habits, or any bleeding. In that case, a colonoscopy is an absolutely essential tool. Colonoscopies are incredibly valuable, there's no doubt about it. But that balance of benefits versus risks really does shift as we age. The main benefit is finding and removing a polyp to prevent a cancer that might take 10, maybe even 15 years to grow. But you have to weigh that long-term benefit against the immediate risks of the procedure itself. The prep can be really tough, causing dehydration. The risks from the sedation go up. And the colon wall can get a bit thinner as we age, which slightly increases the risk of a serious complication.
This is a deeply personal decision, and it's one you should make by having a really good conversation with your doctor, looking at your entire health picture. For some people, it might make sense to shift the focus away from invasive screening to something you could call smart surveillance, which just means being really aware of any new symptoms and focusing on prevention, like eating a diet with plenty of fiber and staying active.
So, after hearing all of this, you might be thinking, okay, so what am I supposed to do now? The big takeaway here isn't to just do less. It's to engage with your healthcare in a new way.
The real goal is to shift from being a passive patient to being an active, informed partner in all your health decisions. Now that is being truly proactive.
Here's a super simple plan to help you get started. First, think about scheduling an appointment just to review your current medications and your regular testing schedule. Second, get ready for your appointments by jotting down your questions beforehand. And third, and this is the most important one, always bring the focus back to your personal goals. What do you want your health to allow you to do? Is it playing with the grandkids, working in your garden, traveling? Let those goals be the guide for your conversations.
And this really gets right to the heart of it all, doesn't it? It's so easy to get caught up in the numbers, blood pressure, cholesterol, what a scan says, that we can lose sight of the big picture. Real health isn't about getting a perfect score on a test. It's about having the energy and ability to enjoy your family, to do the things you love, and to live with vitality and independence. That should always be the ultimate goal of all our healthcare. Always remember, you are the world's leading expert on your own life and what you value most. Your doctors are the experts in medicine, for sure, but you are the expert on you. Your healthcare plan should reflect what's important to you. The whole point is to make choices that protect not just how long you live, but how well you live, the quality and richness of all your years.
And finally, please keep in mind that everything we've talked about today is for educational purposes only. This is not medical advice. Every single person's health situation is completely unique, so please use this information as a starting point to have a great, thoughtful conversation with your own doctor or trusted healthcare provider before you make any changes to your care. Thank you so much for joining us.